Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another Facebook Live in the VOpreneur group. It's Saturday afternoon. What are you guys up to? Hope you're having a good day, a productive day, a happy weekend. Let me just adjust this thing here a little bit. I've been busy today getting ready for gardening. I don't know the first thing about gardening, but the house that we bought last summer has a beautiful, gorgeous garden, and part of it is for vegetables. And so I'm very excited about attempting to grow my own food this year. And so that was what was on the list for today, was going out and getting all the supplies that we need to be able to do gardening. I have never successfully grown anything in my life, but I am committed. Last night I couldn't sleep, so I was up half the night reading, learning, and I'm going to figure it out one way or another. We're going to grow vegetables. That's not what I'm here to talk to you about today, though. I wanted to jump on and do another Facebook Live because I was inspired by a post that was shared in the VOpreneur group yesterday. And so it's one of those posts that there are a lot of great answers for, and some people shared some really great tips as well. But I wanted to be able to dive into it a little bit deeper than just leaving a comment on it. And so for that reason, I said, you know what? Let's do a Facebook Live. So that is what we are here to do. I want to share some tips for productivity with you. So these are going to be 5 of my best tips for increasing your productivity, or 5 productivity hacks, if you want to call them. It's really tough to work from home sometimes and to be able to maximize your time when you are at home, because there are so many different things going on and there are so many distractions that come into our life and into our day. And so that's what this is all about. This Facebook Live is going to be about 5 productivity hacks, and it was inspired by a post that was left in the group by Frankie. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, let me just read it for you quickly. It says, "Every day I seem to deal with distractions. With having a home-based business and being a wife and a mom, I'm pulled in many directions. After they are off to work and school, I finally get into the studio. I find that I'll be focused on something, then an email comes in or a news alert, and something that takes my focus in another direction. Sometimes it'll simply be the thought of something else that I need to take care of. Pops into my head, and I jump to it. In a nutshell, I'm having a difficult time staying focused and having a truly productive day. I've thought about planning out each hour of my day, but I'm not sure that will work. Remember, life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. Any thoughts or advice, welcome." This is classic for those of us that work at home, because there are 1,000 things that can come up while we are at home. If we have a spouse that is at home, if we have kids that are at home, just the simple fact that we are at home. What could you possibly be doing while you're at home? You know, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, cleaning the rooms, making the beds, dusting, watching TV, sitting in the recliner, outside mowing the lawn, getting the garden ready. Like we talked about in the very beginning, when you're at home, there are 1,000 things that you could be doing. And sometimes it's really, really hard to focus on what you should be doing. Working from home is truly a blessing, but it's also very much a challenge as well. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. So these are going to be 5 different productivity hacks that I have implemented in my own business to make sure that I'm getting things done. And I get asked the question a lot, Mark, how do you do it all? I have a lot of things going on between voiceover and coaching, wife, kids, house renovations, you name it. I got it going on, and I always get asked how I manage to get things done. So these are some of the things that I do. So productivity hack number 1, and this is going to be the one that is going to make you most cringeworthy. This is the one that people struggle with the most. Productivity hack number 1, turn off all notifications. You got to set aside at least a couple hours during your day, and it doesn't necessarily need to be back-to-back hours, but there needs to be at the very least, there needs to be an hour or 2 in the morning and maybe an hour or 2 in the afternoon or the evening where you turn off all your notifications. What is one of the biggest distractions that you have in your life? Every time your phone dings and it tells you that there's something else that you need to address, something else that needs your attention. And before you know it, you've jumped on Facebook to respond to one thing, and what happens? You just lost an hour on Facebook without even trying. Or you checked that notification on your phone, which led to another notification, which caused you to think about something else, which took you in this direction over here, and squirrel, and before you know it, you've lost an hour, right? Turn off all notifications. In fact, there are times when I just leave my phone in a completely different part of my house. I work downstairs in the basement. Sometimes I leave my phone upstairs in the kitchen so that I can't even be tempted to look at it. And because I have an iPhone and I have an iMac. Everything's tied together. And so I turn off the notifications on my iMac as well. There's a setting that allows me to do that because I absolutely am that guy. And I'm managing the VOpreneur group, the group that we're broadcasting live in right now. I manage that group. So I want to be there and I want to respond to every comment. But if I do that, if I jump online and respond to one comment, in the time that I respond, 3 or 4 more comments have been made, and now I want to respond to all of those. And again, like I said, now you've just lost an hour. Turn off the notifications. Everybody thinks that this is impossible. I know there are some young people in the group, but there are not people in the group that are so young that they don't remember. And trust me when I say this, life used to exist successfully before cell phones were invented. I know it sounds crazy, but there was a day when we did this. There was a day when we did this thing called life without our cell phones. The world will survive without you checking your notifications for 1 hour. I promise you it will. I promise. So that is productivity hack number 1, and that is the biggest and toughest one. We all want to be connected. FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. We don't want to miss out on a notification. We don't want to miss out on an email. We don't want to miss out on a tweet, a text, a call, whatever. But that's why you're not getting things done. You got to turn the notifications off, put the phone in another room, get down, get dirty, get the work done. Okay? So that's productivity hack number 1. Turn off notifications, get the phone out of the room. Number 2, you got to set specific, measurable goals for what you want to accomplish each day. If you are walking into the studio and your primary objective in the studio today is I want to get some marketing done, well, what the heck does that mean? What does that mean? I want to get some marketing done. There are 1,000 different things that could mean. So one of the reasons why you may be struggling to get things done is because you're not being specific enough about what it is that you want to do or what it is that you need to do. And that's why, and I've blogged about this before and I've shared this in the group before. In fact, just recently, maybe yesterday, I think it was, I shared a post about this that said, people ask me, how much time should I spend marketing? And my response is that it shouldn't be about how much time, it should be about how many leads. And so that's the sort of stuff that I'm talking about. So if you're setting specific measurable goals for yourself, that is going to help you to stay productive, to stay focused. Rather than just saying, today I'm going to do some marketing, you're going to say, today I am going to find 20 new leads and I am going to reach out to 20 previous leads. Now you've got something measurable. Now you've got something that you can aim for. Now you've got something that's going to hold you accountable. I am not going to get out of the studio. I am not going to get on Facebook. I am not going to let something else distract me until I have found my 20 new leads and made my 20 touches. And I know that there are some of you that are protesting this already. Let me just put it this way. If you were working at a 9-to-5 where you actually had to go out of your home, you got to go into an office space. And some of you understand this because I know that there are some of you that do have jobs outside of voiceover right now. You understand that when you go to work, your time belongs to the company. Your time belongs to your boss or your manager. It is your responsibility to give them however many hours a day it is to do the tasks that need to be done. When you are a voice actor and you are the boss, when you're a VOpreneur and you're working from home, it is your responsibility as the CEO of your business to give your business the time that it deserves. If you're not doing it, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to get things done. Just because you are working from home doesn't mean that you can use it as an excuse for not working. When I am in the office, I am in the office. My time belongs to my business when I am in the office. So you're going to set specific, measurable goals for what you want to accomplish each day. And you're going to start to see how this all ties together. So if the goal is that you're going to do 20 leads and 20 touches, right? Now you have something specific and measurable. Now you have something that you're working towards, which is why you know that you need to turn off the distractions, turn off the phone, turn off the notifications so that you can sit down and give your business, give your company the time that it deserves from you. This is so important. So there you go. Productivity hack number 2, set specific measurable goals for what you want to accomplish each day. break it down so that you can measure it and so that you can hold yourself accountable to it. So at the end of the day, you can look back and say, I accomplished this, 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 and this. I've shown you guys the board that's hanging right up here to my left. I've shown you that I write down how many leads I'm going to reach out to each week and how many touches I'm going to make each week. And I put a little tick on the board every time I hit one of those leads or hit one of those touches. So at any given point during the week, I can just turn and look and I can see it right there. So I know that I'm measuring my progress. I know that I'm getting things done. I also generally give myself 3 to 5 goals that I want to accomplish each week. And those get written down on the board as well. So at any given point, I can look over at those 5 things that I know I want to get accomplished this week, and I can ask myself, is what I'm doing right now bringing me closer to one of the 5 things that is on that board? And if it's not, then I have to reevaluate my priorities, and I need to make sure that my time is being given to those specific, measurable goals that I have set for myself for each day, each week. So that's productivity hack number 2. Productivity hack number 3, and this is one of my favorite ones, change the scenery. Let me tell you something right now. I can get more accomplished some days sitting at a coffee shop for an hour than what I can get accomplished sitting in my home studio for 4 hours. And you want to know why the biggest reason is? Because when you're somewhere else, there are no distractions. When I'm sitting in the coffee shop, I'm not thinking about the renovations. I'm not thinking about the 50,000 things on the honey-do list that need to get done because I'm in a different space. And so changing that location totally changes my focus and totally changes my priorities. And so you would be amazed at how much you can get done sometimes simply by changing the scenery. Take your laptop, go to a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi, sit at a table, get things done. Start attacking those specific measurable goals that you have. It's good to change the scenery. One of the hardest things for me for working from home, because my office is at home, I used to very much feel like if I wasn't in the office, I would feel guilty. Like, my office is right there. You know what? I just need to go downstairs and I just need to do this, right? And so I get trapped in the house and I'm here 24/7 and that's not always a good thing either. So sometimes that little change of scenery, even if it's only for an hour or 2 in the afternoon, can make a big difference. The town that I used to live in, I went down to the local pizza shop for lunch. I'd go for about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'd be the only person in the place. I'd have my lunch, I'd have quiet, I had Wi-Fi, and I could crush stuff on my to-do list. So that's something else that you need to try. Change the scenery. That's productivity hack number 3. Productivity hack number 4, this is a big one. Make sure your family understands why this is important. One of the struggles that I had in the beginning when I first started working from home is trying to get family members, and my friends too, to understand that just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm not working. And sometimes that's a really big misconception. And it's just because we're pre-programmed as a society that you go to work, right? That's obviously changing now in the world that we're living in now. More and more people are doing stuff online and working online, which gives them flexibility to have remote offices and stuff. But for the longest time, it was just built into our DNA that when it was time to work, you left the house to go to work. So if you were home, you were obviously available, free, whatever. And so you've got to make sure that your family understands that just because you're home doesn't mean you're home. And maybe that means you need to set some office hours so that friends and family understand that between these hours each day, I'm not available. This is my office time. Just like they wouldn't show up and sit on the couch across from you in your office or pull up a chair in your cubicle and hang out with you all afternoon if you actually went to an office space, they have to have that same kind of understanding and respect for you when you work from home. But that's on you to set the boundaries. These are what my office hours are, and between these hours on these days, I am not available because I am working. I am the CEO of my company, and during these hours of these days, my time belongs to my company. So important. And I know that's not always easy when you've got kids in the house. Maybe you got to lock the door. I've had to do it before. My kids are getting good, though. They're starting to understand that there are times when daddy's in the office and daddy's working and daddy can't be interrupted. And they can't be, having a dance party in the bedroom that's directly above my head right now because maybe I'm recording. And so sometimes you've just got to set those boundaries for your family and friends and make them understand that there are office hours. And one of the other points that Frankie brought up in the question, which sparked this initial Facebook Live, was sometimes she gets distracted because ideas pop into her head, and then she stops what she was doing to kind of pursue that idea. And this is where I think journaling comes into play big time. And there are two different ways that I journal. I do have a paper book journal that I keep, that I write in. Usually at the end of the day, I'll jot down a few thoughts. But I also keep a running journal in Evernote. Evernote has become kind of like my second brain. And I am very much, squirrel, I'm that guy. I'm that guy, okay? I can be working on something and I can be focused on something, and all of a sudden something else pops into my brain and I'm gone. I'm off on a tangent. I'm down the rabbit hole. And so that's where I use Evernote. And when those ideas pop into my head, I open up Evernote, very quickly jot a note down so that I remember, kind of the premise of what the idea was or what I was thinking about or what it was related to. I use tagging systems and different things like that in Evernote as well, just to sort of tie things together and keep a database neat. And now that I've got it jotted down in Evernote, that it took 10 or 15 seconds to just quickly jot that note down, and then I get right back to what I was working on so that I don't allow myself to get distracted. And then at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week, I can revisit some of those items that I wrote down in my journal. And maybe some of those items are the things that become the goals, the specific measurable goals that I set for myself for what I need to accomplish next week. So I stay focused on the task at hand, but I don't miss out on any opportunities because now I've got them written down, they're documented, I can deal with them later. So working from home is beautiful, it's fun, it's amazing, but it can be a challenge. I totally get it, and it takes a while to get some systems in place and figure out some things that work for you. Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about that. Not exactly sure what happened, but Facebook kicked me off just as I was getting ready to wrap up the live video. So I wanted to just jump on quickly and just put a nice little bow tie on all of the points that we talked about. So 5 different productivity hacks that are going to help you working from home. Productivity hack number 1 was turn off the phone and computer notifications for certain blocks of time. Like we discussed, you are the CEO of your company. While you are in the office, your time belongs to your company and you need to guard that time. So there needs to be certain time blocks in your day that are non-negotiable, where all you're going to do is focus on whatever the tasks are that you have deemed the most important for your business. Turn off the notifications. Don't worry about any other distractions. All that stuff is going to be there for you in an hour or 2 hours when you're ready to get back to things. So shut everything off, guard that time, dive into your business. That's productivity hack number 1. Productivity hack number 2, set specific measurable goals for what you're going to accomplish each day. That is going to help you to stay focused. It is going to help you to adjust your priorities, and it is going to give you something to keep yourself accountable to. You're measuring your progress so you know that you're getting done every day what you need to get done. Try changing the scenery every once in a while. It's really tough to work from home and to be at home all of the time, especially knowing that there are so many distractions that can get in the way. So sometimes just an hour or 2 at a coffee shop can be far more productive. You can get more done in that hour or 2 than what you'll ever get done working at home. Try it a few times a week. I think you're going to see. Take your laptop and go someplace where there's Wi-Fi, make some specific measurable goals for yourself, and just plug away at it. You're going to get a lot done. You're going to love it. The change of scenery, you're going to find it to be very rejuvenating. I do. It always helps with my creativity. So that's productivity hack number 3. Productivity hack number 4, make sure your family understands what's going on. Just because you are home doesn't mean that you are free and available. You are going to have to define boundaries with your family and with your friends. You're going to have to let them know that there are certain times when mommy or daddy or whatever can't be bothered. Let your friends know that there are certain times just because you're at home, you're not available. You're going to set office hours between this time and this time on these days of the week. I am simply not available. You have to be responsible for setting those boundaries and for enforcing those boundaries. Your friends, your family, they're going to understand. You don't want to do this. People don't want to do this because they're afraid they're going to feel like a jerk. That's just not the way it is. Like we said earlier, your friends aren't coming and hanging out with you at your cubicle if you're working in a regular office. It shouldn't be any different when you are working from home. And finally, journal. When those random ideas pop into your head or those other things come in that you want to think about or that you want to explore, that you want to dive deeper into, quickly jot a note down, whether it's on a piece of paper. I use Evernote. Get it out of your brain and get it written down so that you don't forget it, but then get back to what you are working on. Stay focused on your priorities, which are those specific, measurable goals that you are setting for yourselves each week. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Sorry about getting kicked off there. Not quite sure what happened. Love doing these Facebook Lives. Love hanging out with you. Love sharing some of the things that I've learned along my journey. If you've got questions or if you've got a topic for a Facebook Live that you would like me to dive into, it's marc@marcscottvoiceover.com to send me an email, or you can leave it in the comments as well. And if you're not a member yet, get in the VOpreneur group, facebook.com/groups/VOpreneur. Have a great weekend, guys.